Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'll stick around.
And I am a fighter of the Foo. Are you?
Welcome to episode 158, Heatwave 1995.
Rage
In a cage.
Ooh.
We're going to cage matches?
I mean, it's about time, right?
Extreme cage matches? Is that's a thing?
I would definitely say that one of them is definitely an extreme cage match.
I mean, yeah, it's like, as long as I don't put Ian and Axel in there. I guess I'd prefer them off of the show. If you put them in a cage, maybe they'll have to be forced to do something different.
I don't know. Do you think you may just get the same stuff, just
Probably.
in a cage?
Without the crowd, without the crowd participation. A few less
Some
frying pans.
glass and fists probably would happen anyway.
Yeah.
But this would be the second annual Heatwave Supercard produced by ECW. It would take place on July 15th, 1995 at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with an attendance of 1,000 people.
That's a smaller number than it's been.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like 1150?
It was 1150 last time.
Yeah. I think that they just like I don't know. If it's full, it's 1,000. If we oversold it, we'll call it 1150.
Well, maybe the cage required them to take out some seats or something.
I mean, that's possible.
I don't know.
No, this cage, not the best thing in the world.
I mean, it's a step above chicken wire.
It is that, for certain.
It's a little difficult to see through, but they had some moments where you could kind of see better.
Yeah.
But the big question is, we're back in Philadelphia. Was Shane able to find something better than chicken wire for us to
chew
treat
on
ourselves?
Yes, I think I have. I have not officially tasted yet because you know how I like to save that for while I'm talking in a microphone. But yes, we once again for the I don't know 158th time.
Yeah, we should keep a Philly tally. I'm surprised we haven't, but it's too late now.
Yeah, we'll have to do the math for next time, or do you just know off the top of your head?
Who knows?
Trivia
It
question.
might be a trivia question.
Well, thankfully, we're still in the dusty finish, so I don't have to worry about that question yet.
And I won't cheat. I won't go back and count them. I won't be that guy.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. I don't think I have the notes anymore. But yes, we are back in Philly on this little culinary, beveragey, snacky, whatever-y trip around the globe.
Around the city limits of Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yeah.
City limits, possibly stretching from border to border of Pennsylvania itself, because I don't know if there are even that many items to eat in Philadelphia, the number of times that we'll have visited there by the time this podcast is finally completed. But yes, decided to go for a local treat there because we're in Oklahoma and it's getting difficult. So ordinarily I can find whoopie pies pretty much anywhere, but today, because I actually wanted to buy one, I couldn't find them anywhere. But thankfully, my friends at Nabisco and Oreo have decided to put out these little snacks called Oreo Cakesters, which are cake cookie
It's like a whoopie
substitute.
pie.
Yeah, it's a whoopie pie. It's cakey buns with cream filling in the middle. Typically, they're about the size of an oatmeal cream pie or bigger, and they're just big and fluffy. Normally chocolate with, I don't even know, is this vanilla cream? Is it just white cream?
It's Oreo.
It's
cream.
sugar.
Well, yeah, this one here is Oreo cream. I've never had an actual whoopie pie though. Are they the same flavor?
I feel like
of
I
cream or
have.
It's a little bit different.
Okay. Yeah,
I think Oreo it's a special secret ingredient in the cream.
Oreos are vegan. Did you know that?
I did.
I did not.
They always have been.
How about that? Artificial from the very, very start. Well, yeah, let's try a bite here. Whoopie pies were originated in Pennsylvania. The Amish housewives in Pennsylvania Dutch country made the first whoopie pies, according to my little studies. Yeah, so Shane's first bite of a whoopie pie, or a whoopie pie-esque treat.
The whoopie alternative. Wouldn't it be better?
They're good, but I need milk.
It reminds me of, I think it's a Drake's product, the Devil Dog, which is like very similar except for it's long. It's like it's just a snack cake. It's like Drake's is like...
It's a Devil Foods cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be cooler if Whoopi Goldberg created the whoopie pie?
That would be great.
That's my...
Or at least had a line of whoopie pies available. Not necessarily even a whoopie pie, just a brand of pies by Whoopi that, I'll take a coconut cream pie by Whoopi.
That's
Whoopi
what we
pie.
need out of Whoopi Goldberg. Some branding.
That's right.
Just like, her face on just, items at a grocery store. She'll be the female Paul Newman of like the dressing aisle.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as Heatwave, Foo Fighters' debut album would release 1 week earlier.
Oh, Foo.
And it's funny that it's like that, showing our hand a little bit with this show. Both of our nicknames came from from this little tidbit, as opposed to
Something from the show.
Something from the show.
Yes. Foreshadowing.
I mean, I know Shane is a big Foo Fighters fan.
I am.
So, I mean, I like them.
Yeah.
I'm not like...
This is my favorite album, and there's the first one. And my favorite song, first song of the first album. It's my favorite Foo Fighters song.
So, what you're saying is that you like Dave Grohl by himself?
I like the second album.
The entire album was basically recorded by Dave Grohl.
Yeah. Before old Pat Smear and Taylor Hawkins, and I don't know anybody else's name in the band. But the first two albums I go back and listen to. I think that as far as popular rock bands go today, they're one of the better ones we got, because there's not a whole lot of popular rock music, and this band has stuck around and at least made albums that are not embarrassing in a world full of embarrassing radio rock bands.
I'll always give a Foo Fighters album a listen.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm never going to be like blown away usually, because they're just not really my thing, but...
Yeah.
They put on an amazing live show. I was a fan of them already, and then I went and saw their show. The one I went to, it was here in Oklahoma City. It was a makeup show because they actually had to cancel because Dave Grohl got sick, and it was one of the very rare times that they've had to cancel a show. Basically, his doctor forbid him from taking the stage. But when they did the makeup show, it ended up being close to 3 hours of them just nonstop. Their opening set lasted almost 45 minutes. It was just song after song after song after song before they even spoke to the audience.
Oh, that's the
How many
best.
albums are they up to now? It's like 12 or 13?
Really?
Something like that.
Jesus, I figured it was like more like 7 or 8. But the that was the one. Was that the one where you had a broken foot?
No, that came later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know some people that went to that show and raved about it, and they weren't even like, they were more in the boat of Matt and I, where they're like, yeah, I like the Foo Fighters fine, and they're like, their show was incredible. I'm like, I believe it.
Yeah, the one I went to, they played the first half of the set where they were set up, and we had noticed this something hanging overhead for the entire time. All of a sudden, the thing started to lower down, and it was another stage, and they unplugged where they were at, walked across.
Oh, that's always cool.
And yeah, the seats we were at suddenly became front row instead of being all the way across the venue. And
That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They just released their 10th album.
Is it number 10?
It's a lot of it's a lot of records.
Yep. I mean, I was never...
And that's not including like
Live.
compilations or live. That's just their normal.
I was never a huge Nirvana fan. I mean, I liked Nirvana, but I was always, from the moment Foo Fighters came around, something about them caught my ear. Dave Grohl is the only drummer I can, or not really, I shouldn't say listen to, I can pick out just by hearing.
Yeah.
Like when that song with Queens of Stone Age came out years ago, I was like, why does this drum sound so familiar? And then I was like, okay, cool.
He plays on that whole album. That's a great album.
Yes.
That was a band that
That's how I was with Tenacious D. I was like, oh, that's Dave Grohl drumming.
I was a huge fan of Queens of the Stone Age, specifically in high school. I mean, I still love those first 3 albums, but yeah, it was listened to by me and my friends quite a bit. We went out of our way to see that band a lot back then.
I think what I like most about them, though, is they all have that life of the party mentality, or I shouldn't say mentality, but persona, easygoing, fun-loving, hilarious, but then they can put on a rockin' performance. It's like they don't take themselves too seriously. They will be the first to laugh at themselves or make fun of themselves.
I actually heard this really interesting story, which, I mean, you probably have heard, but in Dave Grohl's autobiography, he basically admitted that he's partially deaf, but because he plays drums, like, literally he can just feel the vibrations and everything, so he can play through and everything. But that's why they don't use in-ear. He doesn't use in-ear monitors.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm sure that in-ear monitor is probably not going to help his he's already fading hearing. Just crank up my monitor. Yeah.
The video music generation wouldn't have been nearly as fun without some of the Foo videos.
Yeah, Big Me and
Everlong
are 2 really great videos.
Him playing the devil in tribute for Tenacious D.
Ah, yes.
That was always one of my favorites.
Dave.
Well, let's see if Heatwave can be one of our favorites.
It can try. We're open-minded.
We're very open-minded.
Yeah.
We get the name, date, and location of the show before we see Bill Alfonso rolling into the ring, taking the mic from the ring announcer. He starts yelling at the crowd, griping about something, before getting security to kick somebody out. But everything he's saying is pretty much indiscernible.
I mean,
okay, I'm glad it wasn't just mine. I thought my streaming was fucking up or something because everything sounded...
This is a horrible tape transfer for audio.
And yeah, it's also one of those, how many ECW shows have we watched that looked great? They just don't have quite the equipment.
Todd Gordon then comes out to get in Fonzie's face, saying he wants to kick his ass. Gordon takes his jacket off and gets ready for a fight, but Bill just keeps jabbering away on the mic. Alfonso says he's going to give a 10 count and starts counting as the crowd begins to chant for 911.
911.
All of a sudden, Todd attacks Fonzie with a clothesline, but a bunch of wrestlers then run down to separate the 2 men.
Is that what that was, a clothesline? I'm just throwing some shade to old Todd.
Clothesline, a little tackle.
3-point stance.
And I like that ECW has their mid-Carter job squad, whatever, that they send out to bust things up.
Dino send-off, Donnie Allen.
Yeah, I was going to say, Donnie Allen's the one that comes to mind immediately.
What was the dude's name?
Tony Stetson, the Broad Street Bully.
Broad Street Bully, that's what it was, yeah.
Bill then takes the mic back and says Gordon has made the biggest mistake of his life. And as of right now, your commissioner is suspended.
What do we do without Todd Gordon?
Oh, no.
Fonzie then slaps Todd before it fades to black. But when we come back, we go straight to our first match. Mikey Whipwreck versus Stormin Mike Norman.
Stormin Mike Norman.
Yep. See? Look, you had a perfect opportunity right there.
I could have just been Stormin Mike Norman. Stormin Mike Temple.
So Norman hits a running clothesline as the ref is still checking on Mikey's boots, and continues the punishment with chops and a running back elbow before missing a clothesline into a corner, allowing Whipwreck to hit a pair of arm drags and a body slam to send Stormin Norman to the floor. Mikey follows out with a springboard senton onto Norman before rolling him back into the ring, where Whipwreck misses a dropkick that stops his momentum. Stormin Norman takes control with right hands, but an Irish whip sends Norman to the corner, where he attempts to leap up and over a charging Mikey, only for him to not be able to leap that high. So Whipwreck helps him transition it into a head scissors to take them both out of the ring, which was kind of a funny spot.
Yeah.
Like Norman just fucked up, and Mikey's like, "Oh, I can work with this."
Yeah, Mikey Whipwreck's been wrestling for 6 months on an upward trajectory, and he's leading the match for Storm Mike Norman just to fuck it up.
Is that where the crowd really turns on old Stormin with the...
I mean, if they weren't
You
already...
fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up.
Yeah, I think they say you still suck dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry guys, we're in Philadelphia.
Brotherly love.
Stormin Norman follows with a double axe handle off the apron, and the crowd starts chanting something that causes him to challenge a fan to a fight inside the ring. And I assume this is the "you still suck dick."
Yeah, probably.
Norman then runs Mikey into a ring post before continuing to argue with the fans around ringside as Whipwreck recovers inside the ring.
Not even worthy of a posted.
Nope.
Mikey slides out of the ring, chasing Stormin Norman down the aisle to run him into a guardrail, and attempts to bring him back to the ring, only for Norman to overpower Whipwreck, sending him into the apron. Back into the ring they go, where Stormin Norman continues to be called an asshole by the crowd, so he keeps up the attack with right hands and a dropkick, before just tossing Mikey out to the floor.
I think that was where... Why the hell am I suddenly blanking on his name?
Mikey Whipwreck?
No.
Sun guy?
The
Hat
announcer.
guy. Oh, Joey Styles.
Joey Styles, God.
Oh my God. How
Yeah.
could you forget Joey Styles?
I don't know. All I was thinking was Tommy Dreamer. It's like, no, it's not Tommy Dreamer.
I'm sure they're close personal friends.
But yeah, that's where he was saying something about the fans calling out for Eric Bischoff or something like that. With the asshole chant.
Yeah. They love to throw shade. Joey's
Yeah.
good at it.
Norman follows out with a tope suicida, then brings Whipwreck back into the ring with a slingshot, sending Mikey to a corner, charging in after, only to run into a boot, allowing Whipwreck to come off the top with a Franken Mikey for the pin and the win.
Well, we love Mikey Whipwreck.
Yes.
They gave this Norman dude way too much offense for this.
Yes.
I know, seriously. Like, there should have been like 6 minutes. I know he's probably a little bigger than... He's not huge,
No.
but he's bigger than Mikey Whipwreck. But I think just about everybody, like, Luna's bigger than Mikey Whipwreck.
So we go to our second match. Broad Street Bully and Don E. Allen versus Raven and Stevie Richards with Beulah McGillicuty for the ECW World Tag Team Championships.
How did Donnie Allen and Broad Street Bully get this wonderful opportunity? Because
Giving a fighting chance to everyone.
Yeah. Sometimes, you
He
know.
used to show up.
Yeah.
More than $45.
Yes. Sometimes your only other popular tag team is busy with the Gangsters.
So Stevie's admirer is at ringside as well as the match gets going, with Stevie slugging away on the Bully. But Broad Street Bully no-sells, drops the gloves, and starts to work over Richards, hitting a leaping clothesline. Allen looks to keep up the attack, sending Stevie to the ropes and going for a leapfrog, only for Richards to just hit a clothesline of his own to take control. Stevie follows up with a drop kick before tagging in Raven, who drops Donnie with a DDT. Richards has left the apron at this point and starts to make out with his admirer.
Richards likes girls, as Joey exclaims.
Who'd have thunk it?
Raven is continuing in the ring, hitting a DDT on the Bully, but then rolls out of the ring to break up the makeout sesh, followed by Beulah shoving the admirer, leading us to a catfight into the crowd.
Catfight. This is like kind of our first catfight. I know some early ECW had a few women who we couldn't even find who they were, like have some matches or whatever. But this is like this is a straight up, like, when you think of catfight, it's like, oh, girls in pencil like dresses rolling around.
Yeah. Crimped hair.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, the bell rings, and the official announcement is a count-out.
Oh.
So Broad Street Bully and Donnie Allen are your winners.
Oh.
But you can't win the belts.
On a count-out, that's right. Post-match, security is trying to break up the girl fight, while Raven and Richard get back in the ring to beat up our winners with multiple Stevie kicks. All of a sudden, the Pitbulls roll into the ring to brawl.
There's a tag team we could have... I mean, you can't have the Pitbulls not beat these guys up. Pitbulls are great.
Followed by the Dudley brothers coming out as well to help the Nest. Tommy Dreamer then makes his way in to brawl with Raven as well. And they all start brawling around ringside, down the aisle, where Pitbulls hit clotheslines on Dudley and Richards. We then cut to a shot of the empty ring, where Broad Street Bully has a mic at ringside, yelling about wanting a rematch. So that brings Raven and Stevie back down, where they just beat up our two jobbers again, including hitting them with the title belts and DDTs. The Pitbulls, Dudleys, and Dreamer then make their way back to the ring for more brawling. And number 2 is about to hit Dudley with a chair when Big Dick grabs the chair away to smash number 2 over the head. Tommy hits a DDT on Raven, while the Admirer has jumped on the back of number 1, who was beating on Stevie.
It seems like they just came up with this a good 10 minutes before they went out.
It's possible.
Yep.
Beulah then jumps in the ring for more catfight, while Dreamer is breaking Raven's fingers.
So you're telling me everything has happened twice so far.
Big Dick Dudley is then standing in the ring, staring at Tommy, who throws a massive punch, only for Big Dick to no-sell and lay out Dreamer with one punch of his own.
Yeah, Tommy went down.
Officials finally come down and they're able to calm everybody down to get Raven and his Nest to the back.
So the Nest has grown in size.
Well, instead of the Pitbulls, now it's the Dudleys.
Dudleys, yeah.
So I guess
yeah, it's just a swap,
Yeah.
if you
It's
will.
messy, because, I mean, then you got Beulah and the cat fight, and you got the Pitbulls and the Dudleys, and, yeah.
The only thing we didn't have was Luna.
She's got bigger and better things to do.
That's right. So we go to our third match. Big Malley Val Puccio versus the Shah, Hack Meyers.
Can I just say, I remember I texted Matt about this when I was watching this show, or maybe, yeah, but this is the same exact match.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this other match we watched on the last ECW show?
Yep.
And it was exactly the same, except for this one might be longer. Maybe. One of them's longer than the other.
It feels like it.
But it's like the same exact match.
It was very predictable to the point that...
I think they forgot that they were working the same city.
Yeah, to the point that like Joey even does says some of the same exact lines.
See, that's what I was trying to remember. Was it Hack Myers in the last match?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
At
but it's-
Hardcore Heaven,
yeah.
this match is exactly the same.
One of them just has a bit of a longer
I think it's the
intro.
Hardcore Heaven Puccio
Is
messing with the crowd a little bit longer.
Yeah, but I thought that I was like not deja vu, but I thought that somehow like they cut a match from a different show, from like another show into this because it was so similar, and I was like, yeah, it was freaking me out, and I was like, no, they just ran it back and recorded it twice. Maybe they just forgot when they could have just had it.
I swear I could do better. I swear.
I swear I can do this poorly put together match better.
And on that note...
So the two
Here we
men
go.
exchange words, followed by Big Malley messing with the crowd. Hack says he's going to slam Val and attempts to, but his back can't handle the weight, allowing Puccio to take control with forearms to the back. The Shah starts unloading with shots and a clothesline to take the big man down, but a reversed Irish whip leads to multiple avalanche splashes from Big Malley in the corner.
I can see it all now.
Puccio power slams Meyers down, but doesn't make a cover, instead hitting a splash in the middle of the ring. Val goes for an elbow drop, but Hack moves out of the way, only to roll back with an arm on top of Big Malley, who's down, for the pin and the win. Post-match, Puccio hits 2 more splashes in the middle of the ring before rolling out.
And getting his arm stuck exactly the same way he did the last time.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
On to our fourth match. Raven and the Dudley brothers of Dudley Dudley and Snot Dudley with Stevie Richards, Beulah, and Big Dick Dudley versus Tommy Dreamer and the Pitbulls of number 1 and number 2 with Eulahh Vachon.
Here she is.
I mean, everybody's showing up a few times.
So Raven's hand is all bandaged up because, his fingers were broken.
You gotta have some continuity.
But he grabs a chair from the crowd, waiting on Tommy to make his entrance. Raven then charges at Dreamer, nailing him with a chair, and everybody is brawling at the entrance and down to the ring, where Raven delivers a DDT to Tommy, while number 1 works over Snot, hitting a back body drop and a clothesline that takes them both over to the floor. Number 1 with a chair shot across the back, while Dreamer has rolled Raven back into the ring, holding him for a testicular claw from Eulahh. She likes grabbing those nuts.
Yes, she do.
A handful.
Tommy with a snap suplex and an elbow drop onto Raven before tossing him to the floor, while Vachon is stalking after Stevie. Number 2 and Dudley Dudley make their way into the ring for the Pitbull to hit a drop kick to send Dudley back out to the floor, where number 2 follows out with a top rope double axe handle. Snot and number 1 are now in the ring, where the Dudley misses a clothesline but gets sent out to the floor. When Bill Alfonso makes his way out to the ring, taking the mic to demand that order be restored. He wants an actual tag match, guys.
This whole court's out of order. This whole bingo hall's out of order.
But everybody just continues to brawl, with Eulahh hitting Raven with a plastic dinosaur.
Hell yeah. What's with the plastic dinosaurs? I know this one wasn't the T-Rex from Toy Story, but we have seen that one once, and I know we've seen at least a plastic dinosaur once before.
Yeah, I mean...
You just show up with whatever you got.
This was the year of Toy Story, though, so...
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, bring whatever's in
You're going to have a throwback episode or something where somebody comes out as a dinosaur.
Maybe it was Luchasaurus as a baby.
That could be.
There you go.
See?
Raven, he got so large.
Raven goes after Eulahh, only for number 1 to be there to stop him, and begins to stomp away on Raven. Fonzie is still trying to get everyone to calm down, with Joey saying, "If it wasn't out of hand, we'd be family entertainment."
I mean,
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
It then cuts forward into the match, and it looks like he finally got everyone to settle down because we have an actual tag match happening. As the Pitbulls knock Raven out of the ring before giving the Dudleys a double noggin knocker, followed by a clothesline that sends the brothers out to the floor. Number 2 rolls Stevie into the ring, where the Pitbulls deliver a super bomb to him. The Admirer then jumps in the ring to give mouth-to-mouth to Richards, when Beulah jumps in to attack her for another catfight. Snot rolls into the ring, only to be met by number 1, but he recovers to set number 2 up on the top for a superplex. But number 2 fights back to front suplex Snot down to the mat. Number 1 then lifts Snot up for another super bomb, with number 2 making the cover for the pin and the win.
How upset would you have been if Little Snot covered one of the Pitbulls? Unacceptable. And Pitbulls have slowly kind of been one of my... They're always solid. They seem like real badasses. I like the Pitbulls.
They have definitely grown on me since we started.
Now I gotta look a couple pages ahead to see if we have Matt's famous line of, "And this was the last time we saw them."
Oh, yeah. Every time I'm like, you know who I love? Matt's like, and we'll never see him again.
Yep.
I wouldn't do that to you guys
Yet.
yet. I don't think I have any of those notes this week.
That's good. That's good.
You're safe. You're
I
safe
need the Pitbulls around.
So we go to our 5th match. Taz and Eddy Guerrero
Okay.
with Paul E. Dangerously versus Too Cold Scorpio and Dean Malenko.
The first thing I jotted down when I saw these names uttered, maybe we'll get a wrestling match. By maybe, I mean how are we not going to get a wrestling match?
So this match cuts forward, basically, after every big move.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's how we lose a wrestling match.
Yeah. If you're gonna cut, you got like the best workers in your company.
So the human suplex machine and Too Cold start us off, where Taz hits a shoulder block to send Scorpio to the floor. Eddy and Malenko are now in the ring when the two trade arm bars with athletic reversals, when Guerrero hits a Uranagi and a slingshot somersault senton.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Dean and the human suplex machine are matching up, with Malenko drop-kicking Taz's knee, allowing his team to work over the human suplex machine, as Too Cold comes in with headbutts, clotheslines, and wrenching on the knee with a STF, only for Taz to escape to hit a Northern Lights suplex. Scorpio now hits a power bomb on the human suplex machine, following it up with a top rope flying splash, but he doesn't make a cover, instead tagging in Dean to work the knee some more. Taz is sent to the ropes, but Malenko telegraphs the back body drop, allowing the human suplex machine to kick him and make a tag, where Eddy comes in to hit a hip toss, arm drag, and a tilt-a-whirl side slam for a 2 count.
I mean, you love to see it.
Guerrero and Dean fight over a suplex, with Eddy getting the advantage to hit a brainbuster, followed by a frog splash for the pin. And no, Malenko kicks out.
I mean, that's a pretty great combo there. Brainbuster, frog splash.
Yep, and then you get the and it flashes forward.
Aww.
Guerrero then attempts a powerbomb to Too Cold, only for Scorpio to flip out of it and delivering a powerbomb of his own for a 2 count. Guerrero comes off the ropes to hit a tilt-a-whirl hurricanrana for a near fall on Too Cold. Taz is then tagged in to deliver a clothesline before hoisting Scorpio up onto his shoulders, followed by Eddy flying off the top rope with a missile dropkick. Dean then lifts Guerrero up into a vertical suplex when Too Cold comes off the top rope with a crossbody. Very rocker-esque.
Yes.
Yeah.
For a 2 count.
Rocker-esque, and it's like, I feel like I haven't seen that in a while. That's a fun spot.
Where you at, Marty?
Malenko then sends Eddy to the ropes, coming back with a wheelbarrow victory roll, only for Scorpio to make the save.
Marty wishes he knew where he was.
Too Cold comes off the top rope with a moonsault onto the human suplex machine for a near fall, then follows up with a clothesline that sends Taz out to the floor. Paulie comes over to check on the human suplex machine. But Scorpio then leaps over the ropes with a plancha, landing on dangerously.
Fuck is up with that?
I know, Paulie taking a bump. Of all the, he's probably the manager that's taken the least amount of bumps in all of recorded wrestling history.
He barely let Medusa put a hand on him, and now he's just going to let Too Cold fall on top of him.
Yeah. Bobby took way too many bumps back in the day. Corny broke his entire ass. Paulie, this is probably one of 10 bumps he took in his career.
Dean then hits an elbow from the apron onto Taz, but he is then sent into the guardrail by the human suplex machine. Guerrero then leaps up to the top turnbuckle, but he slips as he leaps out to the floor, so he lands on his knee. Too Cold looks to follow out after them when Paulie climbs up and hits him with his phone, knocking Scorpio back into the ring as 911's music hits.
I mean, that was his cue. When he hit him with the phone, it hit the numbers 911, and he answered the call.
Nice.
But it was all a distraction as the human suplex machine grabs Scorpio, hitting a Tazplex for the pin and the win. But Alfonso runs down to restart the match due to Dangerously's interference.
Oh, damn.
Paul E. shoves Fonzie, and the two men start arguing in a corner, while Too Cold and Malenko attack the human suplex machine and Eddy. Scorpio hits a super kick on Taz, while Dean delivers a Tiger Driver to Guerrero, leading to Alfonso making the double count for the pin and the win. Post-match, Dangerously and Fonzie continue to trade words, and we still can't understand exactly what they're saying because horrible audio. All of a sudden, ECW's videographer, Rob Feinstein, is then in the ring, with Paul E. giving him the mic where he says something about home video.
I've got him in my trunk after the show. If you need a tape, it'll be $8, and maybe I have some other stuff. Who knows?
Dangerously gets in Feinstein's face, shoving him. So Rob shoves back and throws a right hand before stomping on Paulie. All of a sudden, 911 then hits the ring and looks for the double choke slam. But Fonzie just shoves Feinstein in front of him before taking off to the back. So Rob is the only one that gets slammed today.
Yeah, it's like we're running out of people to choke slam. With that, we have the videographer. A guy that's just like duping tapes in his apartment.
Oh, old Rob Feinstein. You'll hear more about him down the line.
Oh, will I?
Well, I don't know. Possibly. He's got some controversy to him in his Ring of Honor days.
Oh, okay.
I was like, should I have looked this guy up?
Yeah, it's like I just assumed he was a nobody.
He basically ended up on To Catch a Predator.
Oh, yeesh. Well,
yeah. Went to hang out with a 14-year-old boy.
Well, don't, guys out there listening, don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was RF Video's owner.
He was what?
Rob Feinstein. He was RF.
RF. Yeah, there we go. He's a really creative guy.
Right?
Yeah,
maybe he got all his ideas.
I saw the name. I was looking at him like, is that the dude? I can't remember for sure, and I had to look him up. Like, oh yeah, that's him. I remember the.
Hopefully, he wasn't making videos with the 14-year-olds.
No, I hope not.
Lord willing.
That's definitely a library I don't want.
Yeah, I feel bad even making the... I don't know if it was even a joke. Insinuation.
We then go to our sixth match. The Sandman with Woman versus Axel Rotten for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
We got a cigarette. We got a woman. We got a cane. We got a beer. We got about 8 minutes to kill as Sandman comes to the ring.
And he comes out first. Foreshadowing.
Nope, just need a cigarette.
Right.
He needs time to soak up all the energy.
Undertaker entrance.
8-minute entrance, but no, let's cut down that last match with
no shit.
Taz and Guerrero and Malenko and Too Cold, because Taz needs a full cigarette break on camera.
I mean, at least
Sandman.
The crowd's partying to Metallica, whereas we're getting
some weird
generic, like generic rock guitar 3.
Because I kept watching the crowd too. I'm like, are they singing along with what should be Metallica, or
I think
is this
and they even like mess with the audio so you can't even like really hear them because it's like exit wide. It's like everybody. It would be so noticeable.
So Sandman attacks from behind with a clothesline, whipping Rotten from corner to corner before using the kendo stick several times. Axel rolls to the floor to regroup, heading to the locker room, only to return with his barbed wire baseball bat, which sends Sandman running. Rotten takes the mic basically saying, if you want to use weapons, we can use weapons, asking Sandman if he's actually hardcore.
It's a Kane versus Bat match. Michael Caine versus...
the Batman?
Yeah, what's his name? Christian Bale?
Axel begins to land shots with the barbed wire baseball bat, but a clothesline and an elbow drop from the Sandman breaks the momentum.
What the fuck is up with that barbed wire baseball bat that didn't look... It looked like the barbed wire was like dipped in plastic or something. I don't know, maybe it was just because it was a horrible video and it just didn't look like barbed wire. It was green and...
it was rusty from all the blood that they didn't wash off of it. I love that he calls him a beer guzzling POS, and we could call him just like a bleeding stuck pig. It's like, yeah, I mean, hey man, you're not the guy to be out here insulting people.
No.
Nope.
Sandman unravels some of the barbed wire so that he can choke Rotten with it before tossing him to the floor and then over a guardrail into the crowd.
Yeah, that did make me cringe. Just because, even though it didn't look like good barbed wire, it was the fact that it was still wrapped around him and he just got thrown over the guardrail.
Yeah, it's like,
I was waiting for...
Yeah. It's still a wire, even if they like, pinched or dulled the barbs or whatever. It's like, still dangerous, obviously.
Back at ringside, Sandman hits a not-so-rubber band slam before more choking with barbed wire, followed by backdropping Axel into the crowd once more. Sandman rolls back into the ring to grab his kendo stick only to then leap over the top rope with a shot to Rotten's head.
I thought he was going to hit somebody in the crowd.
I know. Every time Sandman goes, like, aerial, it's absolutely terrifying because you just expect... He's just almost hurts himself every time. It's crazy.
Back inside the ring, the Sandman wraps all of the barbed wire around Axel before hitting a slingshot somersault senton.
Really intelligent.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe he had one too many Budweisers before the match.
Rotten then ducks a charging Sandman and starts to fire up, tying up the Sandman in a corner with the barbed wire. Woman then makes her way into the ring with a kendo shot across the head of Axel, but Rotten no-sells it, stealing the cane away from her. And for the first time probably in ECW history, Woman doesn't get hit,
Wow.
but instead turns to nail Sandman with the stick instead. Sandman breaks free from the corner to hit a clothesline, climbing up to the top for a sloppy-looking rocker dropper, stumbling on top for the pin and the win.
Worst leg drop ever.
Everyone's pulling out the rockers moves today.
Huh?
Not great, but
I mean, they're not doing it well, but I guess, maybe they are wrestling fans. Maybe some of them are actually wrestling fans.
Hey, Vince, look, I can do this move that Sean did. Hey, Vince, look.
Yeah.
No.
Vince McMahon has never even heard of the Sandman, and if somebody showed him a photo, he probably said, "Get that out of my
he
face,
heard
pal."
of ECW for the first time at King of the Ring 95.
Oh, yeah?
Because they started chanting it during
there you
the
go.
King of the Ring finals.
Yeah.
That was when he first heard of them.
And Bruce Pritchard ran out there to do crowd controls, like, shut up.
So we go to our 7th match. Stevie Richards versus Eulahh Vachon in a cage match.
I mean, come on. This is what we're all here for? Doesn't this sound great?
So Stevie is scared to get into this cage, but he finally musters up the courage.
He does a great job of being a wiener.
Good job there, Super Stevie.
In this cage, it's your basic, like, yard fence.
Think of your middle school, like, playground, or like elementary school playground, and then think of the fence that was around it.
Yeah.
It's that.
Ours was a whole lot bigger than this.
Oh,
It's
really?
basically it's 4 panels on each side, and it just sits on top of the apron, and it's about 7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's like the similar, like, the way that it sits on the ring is similar to, like, the classic blue cage, except for the classic blue cage is great, and you can see through it because it's big and, it's steel and heavy. I miss the blue cage.
Yep.
But this is ECW style. It
This
looks
is-
like
this
an
is them
episode of Cops.
This is them calling the fence yard down the street and going, hey, you got some panels for, like, cheap.
Yeah, can I get like 4 16x16s and some zip ties, please?
Yeah, exactly. So Vachon starts to chase after Richards inside the ring, finally getting hold of him to throw him into the cage multiple times. Double leg drop, more throws into the cage that bust open Stevie, followed by a bulldog, a swinging neckbreaker, and a springboard pump splash
And don't we just love her?
that only gets a 2 count as Eulahh pulls Richards off the mat. Stevie begins to fight back to hit a reverse atomic drop, but misses a drop kick, allowing Vachon to deliver an elbow drop, several snapmares, before applying a chin lock. Richards with a rake of the eyes escape, then hits a powerbomb and throws her into the cage to bust her open.
Double blade. When Luna does a chin lock, it's like, that's how everybody should be doing it. You gotta sell that. Be mean. Be angry.
Stevie starts working the legs, but a low blow and a shot to the gut allow Luna to hit a DDT for a near fall. Richards hits another powerbomb for a 2 count, followed by a swinging neckbreaker and a body slam, where Stevie then heads to the top of the cage for a splash, but Vachon gets a boot up into the jaw. Luna then hits another swinging neckbreaker and climbs to the top rope, coming off with a splash.
Big old splash.
where she almost jumps too far
Yeah, it's a big splash.
for a 2 count. Vachon then locks on the testicular claw for the submission and the win.
I love that she pulls him up again just to do the testicular claw. It's like, what a nice touch. First intergender cage match of all time, I think they say.
I think so.
I believe them. Who knows? Yeah. I love this.
Post-match, Luna starts biting Stevie's cut before climbing to the top rope, while the Dudleys, Pitbulls, Raven, and Dreamer have made their way to ringside to brawl some more. Raven makes his way into the cage and puts a chain around the door, while Richards low blows Vachon. The Pitbulls keep trying to climb the cage, but Raven continuously kicks them off before DDTing Luna. The Pitbulls are finally able to break the door open to crawl in to check on Vachon, but they just get attacked by Raven. Tommy then makes his way into the ring to throw Stevie into the cage before DDTing Raven. The Pitbulls get Luna to safety, while Dreamer continues to throw Richards around the cage before slamming the cage door on the hurt hand of Raven.
Breaking some more fingers.
Yeah, I know, because they slam, right before Tommy gets in, they slam the cage on his hand, and then he's like, oh, all right. We got some continuity. They're doing some things.
Tommy then tosses Stevie out of the cage, so it's just him and Raven. Dreamer then DDTs Raven onto a chair and throws him into the cage several times before bringing out a pair of handcuffs to tie Raven up to the cage. Tommy then takes a chair to hit what is known as the Chairshot heard round the world.
Oh, yeah, a nasty unprotected headshot. Ugh.
Before going out to celebrate with the crowd as they chant, EC Dub, EC Dub.
I love that he does that disgusting chair shot and then mocks him.
So we go to our 8th match.
Hey, guys, the cage is still up.
If there's a cage, we shall rage.
Mm-hmm.
Public Enemy of Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge versus the Gangstas of New Jack and Mustafa Saed in a cage match.
The Gangsters get a nice pop.
Yeah, they do.
They are over immediately, and they are looking good in like one of that 90s
The
style.
audience is tired of Public Enemy as the rest of us.
I don't think they are. I think they love Public Enemy. They're just glad to see somebody that will also do wild shit. Plus, the Gangsters look cool. He's like, they look mean, wearing like a Raiders jacket and like a sick 90s style Snoop Dogg t-shirt where it has like 10 pictures of Snoop Dogg on it.
It was great.
Yeah,
I want one of those.
Yeah, it's such a great design for a t-shirt.
So there's also all kinds of weapons littering the inside of the cage.
Screen doors and
There's a little bit of everything. You name it, it possibly was inside this cage. New Jack takes the mic. We didn't come up in here to make friends, to sign autographs, to kiss no babies. You think you want some more? You're about to take the ass whooping of your lives.
Love you, Jack.
And as soon as the bell hits, Rock hits Mustafa with a frying pan and sends him into the cage, while New Jack is using a billy club on Johnny until Rocco hits him with the frying pan as well and running him into the cage. We get baking sheet shots from Grunge on New Jack, eye rakes and chokes from Rock on Saed. Johnny is even stabbing New Jack with a screwdriver.
Stabbing. That's a. I didn't know that was a thing you could do in wrestling. Stab.
Rocco is now using the baking sheet and the billy club on Mustafa. We get chair and baseball bat shots from Grunge on New Jack. Mustafa then sends Rock into the cage and starts stomping on him. But a low blow and a shot from the baseball bat by Johnny stops him. Rocco is sent into the cage again by Saed, while Grunge is using the frying pan on New Jack, only to be stopped by a chair shot from Mustafa, who also uses it on Rock. So if you haven't figured out, it's just a bunch of plunder.
This is exactly the same point in my notes where I was like, what do I even write? Because they are just hitting each other with
stuff, and I can't see them.
With stuff. So it's just like, yeah, I hit you with some stuff, you hit me with
This
some
was
stuff. I
about
hit
the
other guy
point
with
that
some
I
stuff.
almost went, and they just kept hitting each other with things, and we'll wait 5 minutes.
You know what a cage match should be? 2 people with a grudge. At least one of them bleeds.
I'm even okay with a tag match. It's just when you got all that other stuff in there in a cage that's already hard to see in, it makes it all really hard to see because they're all just going.
And there's so much
one area to
stuff
the next
in there. Yeah, we don't have a referee.
Yeah.
So Johnny is then thrown into the cage before the Gangstas both clothesline Public Enemy down to the mat. Rock starts to climb the cage to escape, only for Saed to stop him, but Rocco is handed another frying pan, which he promptly uses to knock Mustafa down to the mat.
Yeah, and he went at him like horror movie style. I'm bashing your fucking head in with this frying pan. Bam, 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 bam.
Oh yeah, the Gangstas are scary.
New Jack sets a chair up in the corner to sing Grunge into, before using a frying pan on him as well. Saed with a low blow on Rock before hitting a power slam for a 2 count, followed by a knee drop attempt, only for Rocco to move. Rocco then grabs a screened window and uses it over the head of Mustafa, before starting to climb over the cage. But he is stopped by New Jack, followed by being crotched across the top rope by Saed. New Jack is then DDT'd by Johnny after some frying pan shots, while Mustafa is low-blowed and hit with a cookie sheet and a baseball bat by Rocco. Grunge is whipping New Jack with a belt, but Saed's back up to stop him, only for Rock to grab a tailpipe to use across the head of New Jack and the balls of Mustafa.
Screen door versus tailpipe match.
More plunder usage from both teams until Saed hits a vertical suplex on Johnny for a 2 count. Another low blow on Mustafa from Grunge, while New Jack is choking away on Rocco.
When in doubt, hit him in the nuts.
Public Enemy sends Saed into the cage before attempting the drive-by on New Jack, only for him to roll out of the way. Back to the weapons and tosses into the cage, when Rocco climbs up to the top, coming off with a senton onto Mustafa, who's held by Grunge. But Saed moves in time, causing Public Enemy to crash into each other. Mustafa then crawls over to a corner where he had set his jacket down earlier in the match.
Is it a loaded jacket?
He's digging for something out of one of the pockets, while New Jack continues to be beaten with chair shots from Rock. Rock then calls for some tables to be brought into the ring. So some people at ringside open the cage door and slide a few tables into the ring.
I don't know where you're gonna put these. You're pretty stuffed at the moment, but hey.
Grunge then sets them up on top of each other. So we got the double table. Public Enemy then places New Jack onto the tables before Rocco heads to the top of the cage, coming off with a moonsault to put him through the table.
Scary.
But Saed then runs over and sprays something into Grunge's eyes, running him into the cage before rolling him up for the pin and the win.
I wonder if it was, what's the product from Coming to America?
Jerry Curl?
The cherry, yeah, it's like
Soul Glow?
Soul Glow.
Soul Glow.
It's supposed to sprayed some Soul Glow in his eyes. Which, I mean, New Jack's bald. Mustafa's got a little hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey says his goodbyes while Public Enemy writhes in pain inside the cage, bringing the medics out to help before it fades to black.
Nice. We got a stretcher job.
We did indeed get a stretcher job.
In a promotion where most matches should end with a stretcher job. We finally got it, and it went to the Gangstas. So, building them up, making them scary as if they already weren't scary.
Blinding old Johnny Grunge. Ugh.
It's about
Poor
time.
guy.
Rocco wasn't going to take the spray. He's the cash cow of the team.
So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Heatwave 95?
I love Luna, and I think Stevie Richards is a great character, and he does it well. And I think it's a shame when the true talents get cut for time.
Yes. Mikey made the beginning of the show a lot of fun. and I had a partial whoopie pie thing. Yeah, the show.
It's not like incredibly hard to watch. It's just a shame that it has so few highs, even though there's some very memorable things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
the one good
chair
match.
shot.
The one good match gets clipped to hell. Mm-hmm. The only other thing really on this show to watch is the chair shot heard around the world, because it's such a iconic moment in
It's
ECW
really gross,
history.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love the Luna Stevie match. I don't know if you
That's
guys
what
feel
sent
about it.
Raven over the edge.
Yeah. But we're basically getting the same stuff from ECW over and over again.
We finally got a match that was not
Literally,
rotten.
even sometimes
It wasn't a double rock
the
match.
exact same match.
Yes.
At times. I'm going to say there's nothing great on this show, but I was not bored watching it.
It moves pretty quick. It's not like...
I wasn't bored. I was more just frustrated by it.
Yeah, it's like if somebody gave you like popcorn for dinner. It's like, you eat the popcorn at the movie and you eat
Get some powdered cheese or something.
Or just like, where's the protein? Where's the protein?
Yeah. It was popcorn without butter or salt or powdered cheese or caramel. It was just
plain old ass popcorn.
yeah, just plain old ECW popcorn.
90s healthy mom snack.
You had your Shah, you had your happy fun Mikey Whipwreck moment. You had a couple minutes of wrestling that
couple
were
of cat
trimmed
fights.
down. You had the repeat of what's this big whatever
Puccio and
Val
Meyers.
Puccio,
Puccio and Meyers. What if the next ECW show has that match a third time?
We may riot.
We practically had the 3 matches tonight of Raven, Stevie, Tommy, Pitbulls, Dudleys. Am I leaving somebody out? I mean, Luna popped in there for a
Stevie
couple
and
of them.
Luna a bunch.
Can't forget Beulah and
Beulah
the
and
the Admirer.
the Admirer.
Yeah, hottie number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little bit too much of
all
them
of that
tonight.
Yeah, it's like, it would be more impactful if you did it more intelligently and once, as opposed to doing it every other segment the whole show.
One segment would have been good, even a little throwback later on in the show, but when you have it at the beginning, in the middle, and then at the end, I'm done.
Yeah, one segment with some heat and then the chair shot at the end would have definitely cleaned it up.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? There. All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of the show?
New Jack on the mic.
That was good.
It was like one of the few things that you actually understand on the mic the entire show.
Yeah, I mean, New Jack can project. You don't have to question what he's saying. He's loud and clear.
I mean, the chair shot heard around the world. I mean, there's a reason why it's called that.
You had that.
Because it's awful.
Yeah.
The first intergender cage match,
Which I still
cool.
gonna say, I'll say it a third time, was a very big fan and very intrigued by, and I found it to be compelling and fun.
I mean, we had a few minutes of wrestling in the fast forward, clipped here, super edited tag team match with.
Yeah, I think the match was 20 minutes in
real time.
And we got about 8 minutes of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, we literally got all the big spots, which
are suplexes and sentons and flips and drop kicks,
which is always fun to see these guys do. But we'd like to see all the extra stuff as well.
Yeah. It's like I'd like to see a couple more Eddy and Scorpio catch wrestling, flip arm twists and trades.
Exactly.
I like that stuff. Who would have thought I liked wrestling stuff?
Who indeed? How about most disappointing?
The super edited down tag team match, and the fact that we had that edited down tag team match after having to sit through a repeat of Val Puccio and Shah, and then followed up that tag team match with a 12-minute entrance from the Sandman, smoking a cigarette and holding a stick in the air.
There are definitely places where
we could have trimmed.
We could have trimmed instead.
We could have came halfway through his entrance.
I'm gonna go with the audio.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's a couple, like, obviously the very first thing between Todd and Fonzie, like, I got that Gordon gets suspended by Alfonso, but other than that, like, I have no clue.
It's like we know
really.
that they have issues, but so do you need to hear what they say? But
the whole Feinstein thing, I was just like, okay, cool, you're gonna get choke slammed.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I have no clue why you're in the ring.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only reason to get choke slammed. It's kind of a double-edged sword where it's like Sandman. Like I'm glad to not see a Rotten's match, but Sandman and like Axel Rotten. It's like it's like, well, I guess Sandman needs an opponent, so that's good. And at least it was short. That's good. But like, who thinks that he's actually going to beat him? But I mean, that's just the
you literally
way
mentioned
the belt.
The Broad Street Bully and Donnie Allen. Like, what did they do to deserve a tag team championship match?
Yeah,
Axel Rotten beat up his brother
for 6 months.
For 6 months, I'm like, that's what gets you a world championship title. I'm like.
It's like, oh, Cactus Jack's away at the moment. We just did that. There's no Shane Douglas.
Who showed up tonight, guys? Axel doesn't have anything. Okay.
Well, let's take the two
Rock,
whitest,
paper, scissors,
sloppiest guys and put them in the ring for 12 minutes.
So, I mean, that was. I mean, the booking of the show wasn't based on that. It was more the Ravens.
They just needed
stuff.
They just needed Sandman on the show because people like Sandman.
Exactly.
People like Axel Rotten too, so there you go.
How about best performer of the night? It's Luna, and we all know
it's Luna. It's Luna. Because the other match, we saw the 4 guys. We know they're great, but like it doesn't stick out because we didn't get to see the whole match, and it's not a match that's supposed to stick out. Otherwise, we would have any 2 of those guys against each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Luna.
Luna. I think Stevie gets a big thumbs up. He worked really well with her.
Yeah. How about most surprising?
I guess I wasn't ready for the chair shot, even though
I was surprised that there was cage matches, kind of in ECW.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like Luna and Stevie, for them to have a cage match, it made sense because there's so many extra people going on, and they somehow still get into the ring. But after the match is over, so at least they waited till the match was over.
Yeah, I liked that match was clean, and then nothing happened until the actual pin.
And literally the only reason that the Gangstas and Public Enemy had a cage match is because they continuously just go out into the crowd and brawl, so it kind of keeps it all in the ring. The
cops show up, so the idea is that, like, you know, that the cops don't show up, we'll actually see a finish.
So we have,
which we got.
We have basically 2 different ways of the reasons why we need a cage match for.
And we both understood them. They weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't nonsensical. It wasn't like we already have the cage. Let's just put the Gangstas and Public Enemy in there. It's like, oh no, we already. Like, there's logic to that based on the last 2 times the Gangstas showed up. So this is kind of like a blow off to 2, like, I don't even know if they were actual matches or just brawls. I don't remember if they were like on the card or if those guys just like showed up. I think they may have had.
Well, the first time they showed up, it was just a surprise that they showed up. But ever since then, it's been
a match.
The last time was a match. I mean, and they just brawled all over the place. So
either way, I appreciate the logic, and one of the matches was good, and the other one was for the crowd.
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
The Ultimate Warrior had won the Ultimate Challenge to become the WWF Heavyweight Champion, but the United States was dealing with a crisis in Iraq, which brought forth a sympathizer as his new challenger at the Royal Rumble on January 19th, 1991. Sergeant Slaughter, born 1948 in Detroit, Michigan, grew up wrestling and playing football in the state of Minnesota. At the age of 24, Slaughter would debut in the AWA, winning many regional titles in the 70s. By the time the early 80s had rolled around, the NWA had noticed his talent, and he would become an NWA United States and World Tag Team Champion during his time there. By 1984, Sarge made his way to the WWF, where he would start his greatest rivalry of his career with Iron Sheik, which would continue wherever the 2 men ended up, including back in the AWA, where Slaughter was a top challenger for the world title. Sarge had also been drafted into the G.I. Joes by this time, being the squad's drill instructor, even making an appearance in the G.I. Joe movie. In 1990, Sergeant Slaughter would head back to the WWF, but he would turn on the United States with his acceptance of the Russian Nikolai Volkov. After the real-world invasion of Kuwait by Iraq, Sarge would support the Iraqi cause, not for political reasons, but because he liked the brutality of the regime, while the United States had become soft and weak. For his accomplishments, Sergeant Slaughter would be inducted into the Professional and WWE Hall of Fames. After defeating the Ultimate Warrior to become the new WWF Heavyweight Champion, Sarge would desecrate an American flag as part of his victory celebration, which would bring a real American to be his first challenger. Next week, Bash at the beach. Guys ready to go play in the sand?
Hey, I got my what is it called? The blue sunblock you put on your nose? Zinc, yes. I got my Tom Zink and my Zubaz on, and we're gonna party in the sand.
Yeah. Going to Bash at that beach.
Music from this week's show is Thunderkiss 65.
5-5.
Yeah.
By White Zombie. And the Gangstas won the match, so we play their theme song, Murder Was the Case, by Snoop Doggy Dogg.
That's what I haven't heard in a long time.
Maybe the best Snoop Dogg song, because it's like the one it's not as like, it's meaner than some of the other ones. Like, he says all kinds of gross and violent stuff in other songs, but they always have like the really poppy chorus, where this one's a little bit more sinister and doesn't get as much love as it should. Plus, it's based on some real life shit. Look it up, guys. Get your Wikipedia out.
If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcast at. Do as Michael says.
5 stars or no stars. Don't waste your time.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns...
For fuck's sake, if you're in Philadelphia and you know what foods you like to eat, give me some ideas, because I'm buying Oreos now. I'm running out of shit.
Oreos.
Also, if you are on the Philly Snacks website page, send me my stuff. I've been waiting 4 weeks.
But you can email us those at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com, or find us on our Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO. We'll talk to you next week.
Later.
Indeed, agree, proceed to smoke weed. Never have a want, never have a need. They say I'm greedy, but I still want more. Cause my eyes wanna journey some more. Really though. Check it out. I'll lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord, my soul to keep. If I should die.